Hey everybody, welcome to Crack-A-Pack Tuesday number 81 on the Mana League. I'm John as always, and we have ourselves yet another pack of Kaladesh. Hopefully you guys checked out the 24-hour stream this weekend that I did. We cracked 3 packs of Kaladesh, still have not opened an invention, didn't really open anything good in the Kaladesh packs. In the Eternal Masters Crack-A-Pack, we opened a Wasteland. In the Return to Ravnica Crack-A-Pack, we opened a Hallowed Fountain, but nowhere near that in our Kaladesh Crack-A-Packs so far. Maybe this one will be different. But regardless, we'll crack this open, see what's in it, and talk about what we would pick, pack one, pick one, if this was a draft. Because, of course, strategy talk is important. Somebody commented on my super efficient pack opening before as well. There was a pack where I just pulled it, and it just split open perfectly. This is one of those packs that sort of disintegrated in my hand as I opened it. All kinds of packs, people. All kinds of packs. Up first, we have a Thriving Grubs. Thriving Grubs is 1 under red for a creature gremlin, 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. When it attacks, you can pay 2 energy, and if you do, it gets a +1/+1 counter. I think this is the best Thriving creature. I hate the rats. I don't really care for the ibex. Or, what am I talking about? Never mind me. I totally forgot about the rhino for some reason. I just classed the rhino in a totally separate bomby category. This is my favorite non-rhino thriving creature. The 24-hour stream is still taking it out of me. Thriving Grubs is pretty darn solid. It's a good one that I'm pretty happy to take, but never really a first pick. Boy, that's an embarrassing mistake. I need some more sleep to catch up on, I think. Eddie Trailhawk is up next. 1 and a white for a creature bird. It's a 1/2 flyer. It gets 2 energy you get when it comes to the battlefield. And whenever it attacks, you can pay an energy to make something else take to the skies. I don't mind Eddie Trailhawk. I typically play them in most decks where I happen to have picked it, but I take it relatively late, mid-pack usually. But boy, making an Oval Chase Dragster fly, making a Renegade Freighter fly, making a Bastion Mastodon fly, all feels pretty darn good with this thing, but certainly never a first pick. Up next, we have Vidale Blademaster. Vidale Blademaster's fallen slightly in my evaluation lately. It's still fine, and I still take it late mid-pack. But I don't, reliably play every copy of it that I get now. I'll still usually play the first copy. It's a fine enough card. It's certainly not an ingenious scab, though. It's fine, though. It's a 2/3 for 3 that sometimes gets a little bit bigger, but certainly not a first pick. Up next, we have Fortuitous Find. Fortuitous Find is 2 and a black for a sorcery. Choose one or both. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. This is fine. Other people play it more often than I do. It's still not amazing, even for those people who do play it more often. But this is just one of those effects that I'm not really a fan of using a card to do this. Attached to a creature, attached to a planeswalker, I am all in. But on a card at sorcery speed, I'm much more out. It's fine, if you want to play this, and by the end of the format, I figure I'll play it at least once, but it's certainly never a first pick. Up next, we have Ornamental Courage. Ornamental Courage is a single green mana for an instant. On tap target creature, it gets +1/+3 until end of turn. One of the less good single mana combat tricks, built to last better, built to smash better, Blossoming Courage? No, this is Ornamental Courage. Blossoming Defense, whatever it's called, the hexproof uncommon one. All of those are better than this one. This is one that you'll probably cut more often than not, but you do need to remember that it's out there. If you are attacking into a tapped out board, maybe they made a weird attack and left themselves open and they have a green mana out. Remember this is there, but don't go out of your way to pick or play this. Next up is Glassblowers Puzzle Knot. Glassblowers Puzzle Knot is 2 generic mana for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you get to scry 2 and get 2 energy, pay 2 and a blue and sack this, and you get to do it all over again. This Puzzle Knot's fine enough, especially, obviously, in the energy decks. And if you want to see an energy deck, check out the 24-hour stream, specifically the second Kaladesh draft that I did, where I went full-on 4-color wackiness energy, and it... Not super spoilers, but it kind of worked. It kind of worked decently, and there was a Glassblowers Puzzle Knot in there. Fine enough card. You're not going to go out of your way to pick it, though. And if you don't really need energy, it goes down a little bit from there. Don't just always play this, but certainly not a first pick. And this is our traditional Kaladesh pack where, you know, we are 6 cards in and we don't have a card that we'd ever want to first pick. Let's hope we get some stuff better. Otherwise, we're going to have to pull some of these cards back in, like maybe the Grubs. Commencement of Festivities is a 1 and a green instant, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to players this turn. This is like a bad fog because it doesn't even save your creatures. Don't play fog, people. The fogs that are good are one-sided and really cheap. This is relatively cheap. Really cheap typically means a mana, but it's not one-sided. It's totally symmetrical and just, you don't want to play this. Just don't. I guess I haven't talked about fogs lately. Basically, yes, it will buy you a turn now and then, and maybe every 1 out of 50 matches, that's the turn that you need to turn the tides and win the game. But there's 49 matches that you lose because this card's in your hand and it's not a creature. Not even a bomb creature. This is in your hand instead of, a 2/2 for 2. Which would have done way more than this did. Don't play Fog. It's just an ineffectual card. Just bad. Next up, we have Chandra's Pyro Helix. This is first pickable. It's not fantastic, but it's first pickable. 1 and a red for an instant. Chandra's Pyro Helix deals 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 target creatures and or players. I always forget that you can play this as shock. I always think that it's 1 and 1. I always forget that it can just kill a 2/2. Versatility, straight up burn at instant speed. It can go to the face. What's not to like about it? I guess the fact that it's 2 mana and it could be 1, but not these days. It would never be 1. So Chandra's Pyro Helix, solid card. Definitely first pickable, but hopefully we see something better, but we'll see how it goes. Up next is Prophetic Prism. Prophetic Prism is 2 generic mana for an artifact. When Prophetic Prism enters the battlefield, draw a card. Pay 1, tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Prism's great. Don't take great to mean it's a bomb and you should never ever pass it, but it helps you cast everything in your deck. And if you are going to go 3 colors or 4 colors, Prophetic Prism helps quite a bit. It's a great turn 2 play if you don't have a 2-drop creature. I still think a creature would in most decks be better than playing this on turn 2, especially if you're up against an aggressive opponent. But this is a solid card. I could see in some of these weak packs that exist in Kaladesh picking Prophetic Prism first. It's going to be very rare, though. Basically, you would have to have an unplayable rare. You'd have to have an Aetherflux Reservoir. Your uncommons would have to be a total whiff, and your commons would have to be a total whiff to take a Prophetic Prism first. It's possible. Don't discount it. We're going to discount it here because there's already a Pyro Helix, and I'm taking a Pyro Helix over a Prism. But yeah. Decent enough card. Up next, we have Die Young. Die Young is 1 and a black for a sorcery. Choose target creature. You get 2 energy. Then you can spend any amount of energy to give that creature -1/-1 for each energy paid. People don't like this card, and I do not get it. I saw somebody, some pro, I don't even remember which one, say, this is basically an expensive deadweight. It's really not. It's really, really, really not. This, with any additional energy production is -3/-3, -4/-4, -5/-5, -5. If you get quote-unquote blown out by them getting hexproof or somehow becoming immune to this, you just don't spend the energy and you've banked 2 energy for something else. I think this card's fine. I don't think it's fantastic removal, but I think it's on the level of it's probably a little bit less than Chandra's Pyro Helix, but I still think it's good. I think pros, at least briefly, we're just down on black, but that's your typical hyperbolic Magic Pro talk. I think Die Young's fine, and I think it's totally first pickable in some packs, especially the Kaladesh packs we've been seeing lately. Anyways, that's enough with commons. We can move on to uncommons with a really first pickable card, Nature's Way. 1 and a green for a sorcery. Target creature you control gains vigilance and trample until end of turn. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Rabid Bite, plus a couple of keywords thrown on it for the exact same casting cost, just a slightly higher rarity, which when you're playing it doesn't matter. Nature's Way is fantastic and is a solid first pick. So much so that we can even kick Pyro Helix and Die Young out of the frame. We know we are not taking either of those over in Nature's Way. Nature's Way is just fantastic removal. Just super duper solid. Let's actually keep that in frame, not halfway, well, quarter way out. Up next is Underhanded Designs. Underhanded Designs is 1 and a black for an enchantment. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. That's the boring part. The good part, 1 and a black, sacrifice it. Destroy target creature. Activate this ability only if you control 2 or more artifacts, which in a black deck, you really hopefully will be, because you're probably having Fabricate, and you're probably having Foundry's creatures and Dund operatives, and etc. Underhanded Designs is solid. It's not as good as Nature's Way, and so I don't think we'll hang out in the frame. I might keep it in the frame for discussion's sake, but it's a fine enough card. I've played with it in Sealed. I think I played with it in Draft, and it was always nice. And as long as you build for it, it's going to be turned on. And as I said, that's going to be basically every black deck you play in, because of what the other black cards want and what they provide, which is servos and artifacts. So Underhanded Designs, I think, is first pickable. Probably not against the Nature's Way. Spoiler, but is still fine. Our final uncommon is Spark of Creativity. This pack is full of removal all of a sudden. We had 8 pretty miserable commons, and then we've had nothing but removal since. Spark of Creativity, a single red mana for a sorcery. Choose target creature. Exile the top card of your library. You may have Spark of Creativity deal damage equal to that creature, to that creature equal to the exile card's converted mana cost. If you don't, you may play that card until end of turn. I don't like Spark of Creativity. I know a lot of people do. A lot of people say, well, hey, it kills something, and if it doesn't kill something, I have a card I can play. It sucks, though, if you top deck a land and you've already played one, so you can avoid that just by making sure you do proper sequencing with that. It sucks if you reveal a combat trick or anything like that, which you very well may have in red, or if you reveal a Chandra's Pyro Helix and you don't have a great target. But even then, I guess you can hit your opponent to the face. So I guess I'm actually talking myself into Spark of Creativity a little bit more than not. But, you know me, I don't like Hearthstone. I don't like burn spells that say deal a random amount of damage. This does negate that a little bit with the quote-unquote card draw, but I'm still not a big fan of Spark of Creativity. I'll keep it in the frame, but I'm not first picking it. I'm in fact rarely picking it. Our rare, which I haven't even actually looked at, so it's going to be a surprise for everybody, is Wildest Dreams. Hurrah. Wildest Dreams, green XX for a sorcery. Return X target cards to your graveyard, from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Wildest Dreams. We just talked about how I don't like spending a card to do this effect. The fact that we can get multiple cards out of it is kind of interesting, but we can potentially get multiple cards out of Fortuitous fine, and I still don't like it. Wildest Dreams, you're just not going to go off with this. Forget your Wildest Dreams. You're not going to get 6 cards back. You're going to get 2, because 2 is 5 mana. If you want 3 cards back, you're looking at 7 mana, and that's just asking way too much. I would never first pick. I would never probably ever really play Wildest Dreams. So that leaves us with Underhanded Designs, Spark of Creativity, and Nature's Way, and I think the clear pick, for me at least, is Nature's Way. Let me know what you would have taken in the comments below. Would you have taken the Nature's Way, the Spark, the Underhanded Designs, the Pyro Helix, the Die Young? Would you have gone for your Wildest Dreams and taken Wildest Dreams? Let me know in the comments down below and in the poll on the top right-hand corner. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at The Mana Leak. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can find me at facebook.com/The Mana Leak, twitch.tv/The Mana Leak, and patreon.com/The Mana Leak. This channel is supported by viewers like you, both by watching but also by supporting me through Patreon. As I've mentioned lately, I have just updated Patreon so that anybody who donates $60 over the entire lifetime of their patronage, be that over 60 months at $1 or be that over 1 month at $60, you will get a Mana Leak playmat. This playmat right here will be sent out to you, so make sure you check that out. There's a couple of reward tiers. One sold out. I am going to be opening up another one soon for 2 or 3 slots for sponsored drafts on live stream on Twitch. But yeah, check out the Patreon if you want to help me out. But as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see you all next time.